There you go. Now you got him up there.
I'm gonna help our friend Boostin and Ryan here out a little bit. No one said there's no Indy, but like I said, we got 15 events, right? And there's a lot of tracks that want us to be there, and we look at our demographic and go, hey, these are the best spots to go to, right? This is where our big fan bases are, and all of that. As far as the rules for all the racers out there, I think we're pretty on par this past season. The parity was very close. If there's any adjustments, it'll be minor in terms of your weights. I wouldn't worry too much about that. We're not announcing, when Boostin said we are announcing one at a time, we actually are. We're not going to release the entire schedule. We're going to have some cool format like we always do. Street Outlaws is different than everybody else. So we will announce each track one at a time. It's going to be in subsequent weeks, of course, but it just keeps the buzz going, and that's what's important about this, right? So we'll announce the first track probably at the top of the year. Open ticketing for all that, and we'll have the rules by then as well, and they'll be minor, to be honest with you. I think we're pretty close. And then after that, I don't know, what else you guys want? Wino Indy? I don't know. Wino Poughkeepsie? I'm not sure. It's just, we just pick certain tracks, you know.
You're not going to release the rules line by line, are you?
Yes, they will be line by line. We actually have a plan for those rules. It will be line by line, page by page.
Can you
I'm going to tell you it's 37 pages.
Can you tell us if we're going to any new tracks that we haven't been to this year?
That's a great question, Ryan. I appreciate that. Thank you. We are definitely going to a lot of new tracks. You know what I mean? I think we're going to be in places where we haven't been before. We want to make sure we reach those markets and get the fans there. The genesis of this was always so that the fans could get close to our drivers and our cast and meet them face to face. That's what this was all about. We want to continue to do that. We got a lot of requests from different tracks going, hey, come to us, come to us, come to us. You know, more than 15 events is tough on us. We have street shows, we have other shows to do, so we're going to stick with 15. I'm going to sit down.
Good job.
You, sir.
Good question, man. I know the West Coast like you guys.
Man, Junior asked me this earlier, man. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good question, though.
It's a great question. So, like I said, we're always looking at new markets, and I think that's one we definitely should explore. You know what I mean? And we are. So we might be, like I said, we're going to a lot of new tracks. So it'll be fun. I think it'll be good for us to kind of, you know, expand upon the usual that we do. And we obviously have our great track partners as well that we're definitely going to go consistently to. And but it's time to kind of go to new ones as well.
So what you're saying is we might end up in California?
What I'm saying is you might end up in California.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we haven't raced there yet, so I thought that would be pretty cool.
Hey.
What month might we end up there?
In California?
Yeah.
Why, do you have something to do?
I'm just gonna check.
I don't know yet, but we'll figure that out.
All that traffic, they don't like that, nigga.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you know, we've been, a couple of tracks have reached out to us from over there, and we're considering it, you know. We just want to make sure it makes sense. And, you know, a lot of these guys, this is their full-time job now. So before you come in there and go like, I'm going to go to one event, try to win it, and then leave there and go do my own events, we're just not that dumb. We're not going to let you do that, right? So if we're going to put you on TV, we're going to invest money and time into your character and build you, we want to make sure you're devoted and dedicated. And, you know, we get this a lot because it's like, hey, I'm a fast driver. Well, you know, fast is one prerequisite. There's a lot more to this than that. And you can ask any of these guys. It's like you can be fast. You can get in your suit, get in the car, let go of the button, and make a great pass. Get out of there, go in your trailer, go to bed. Well, that's not what we do here at Street Outlaws. You know, this, as you guys know, you come here, you get autographs of these guys because you're fans of theirs, and we kind of have a wide range of characters, and you kind of have to fit in the mold, right? And we don't. We have a lot of people asking to be a part of it, but the first step is, number one, you got to show us that you can drive, and number two, you got to show us that you fit within this mold of characters, right? That's the second part. People go, it's a TV show first. It's both. It's a TV show and drag racing. You have to be a character. Like, we can't just let everybody in, and then, like, this is not about car counts. You know, people go in there and go, we got 700 cars. Well, we could too if we didn't just close the fields. We don't, but that's not what this is about. This is not about the fans sitting there just seeing car after car after car after car. That's not our perspective on what's best for, you know, the future of this. It's about dedicating our bandwidth to those drivers that have dedicated to us, propelling them forward, building their brands so they help give back to Street Outlaws, and we give to them, and they can make a living, a good living, doing this. That's the end game in all this, right, for these guys. And I think we've accomplished that. But for anyone coming in, if you want to get into the Invitational, you got to go run futures, right? And don't ask me how to be or how to act. This is not about acting. These guys are individually who they are, right? You either have it, you don't. It's like asking, well, how do I beat Tom Cruise? Well, you can't beat Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. You be somebody else. How do I be Will Ferrell? You can't be Will Ferrell. You know what I mean? Like, Will Ferrell is Will Ferrell. If you go out there, you race, you're safe, you represent the brand properly, and you're fit into the mold of a certain character that works for us, we're going to invite you up. I mean, here's Corey here in front of me with his mom, Melissa. With Justin's mom, Melissa. And Justin was one of those guys, we saw him and we were like, this guy's awesome, right? But he's got to run futures. That's just how it is. We have to make sure that he's trained properly. He's a fast driver. He's going to refine his skills and at the same time understand how this brand works and how to propel forward. 7. He ran 7. Yeah, that's exactly right. And Justin was truly ready after the second. You know what I mean? But he ran 7. And then John Odom came in this year, and people was like, "Well, why John Odom?" Well, John Odom had a lot of things into this. He really did. People don't realize it. They add a special pedigree that's important to this world. And what's that? Is there more? It's like
I want to hear Boosted.
Yeah,
Let's see what Boosted has to say.
we have, but before we say that, we have certain constraints with the current systems in place, if that makes sense, and we're going to remedy that, right? As we continuously finesse, we have some constraints with the current setups of certain, systems at the track. But Busa can explain how that all works.
I would like you to explain the difference between guessing a light and cutting a light.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start with that because I heard him say cutting a light.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So explain the difference between cutting a light and guessing a light.
Yeah, okay, we'll start there. So the difference between cutting a light and guessing a light. Cutting a light would mean you saw some type of indicator that would tell you to let off the button. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree.
That
That is
if
cutting a light.
something triggers you to react, would be you cutting.
But since there is no ambers for us to look at,
Yeah.
we have nothing to react off of.
So if you're reacting off of nothing, then I would tell you that you are there guessing, because you are anticipating when the light is going to come on. So in order for you to react, you have to react to something. And if you're reacting to nothing, then you are guessing.
Well, even Ryan Martin red lighted.
He did. He red lit.
All things that he doesn't really have to do, but he does. So even he was trying to cut the light.
He sucks every now and then.
Ryan Martin
I'm
is.
human.
Ryan is human, but he does shit it up every now and then. And we're glad that he does.
It happens to the best of them. Sometimes
I think a lot of times if a guy decides that he might be underpowered or he can't beat the car next to him, he's going to do whatever he can to win. And with us, one of the advantages is you can try to, honestly, guess the light. And it's not illegal, so nobody's doing anything illegal. But, it doesn't matter when you're a driver that works on your program and you try to get fast, make sure you have a fast car and you make sure you have a car that is going to, make it A to B as fast as you possibly can. For a guy to go over there, and literally you can take, if you're rating our cars from the fastest being number 1 to the slowest being 32, if the 32 guy, the guy with the slowest car on the property, guesses the light right, he can drag the number 1 guy to the end. Yeah. And it just doesn't feel good when you're the dude in the other lane, because you're the guy with the faster car doesn't have anything, he has no benefit from trying to guess, because most of the time the people that guess go red. So, not always, but a lot of times I do. So it's just an advantage, that people get. It's not really, you don't really have anything to react off of. So we call it guessing the light.
I'll tell you one thing I think you're missing on the guessing the light, though. So what they don't understand is y'all don't get to see the amber.
Yeah.
So when people leave and there's not actually a green,
Yeah.
it's really green. It's still like the 410 Street, but they don't get to see the amber lights. So
Yeah.
if they count the light and Bob is good at it.
Yeah.
Where's Chuck? He's really good at it.
Yeah.
There's a few guys that are really good at counting the light. They've done their homework. If they're standing up there on the starting line for a long time, they're not just watching cars. They're studying the tree. They're doing what they do. It's part of their game and how they make it work. So when they guess it, I don't really say it's guessing it. I say they're counting the system. Huh? they're counting the light, and a lot of times they hit it, and they just do. You know what I mean? They control how they go in stage. There's a game to it, and there is. And some of them are good at it, and some ain't worth a shit at it.
And you're,
Goes stage,
and then green. But
There's no pre-stage, so it is green
If they
only.
leave and the light's not green, they're leaving on that the amber. Yeah.
you still pre-stage and stage. There's just no ambers. There's no indicator to tell you.
It's a
Not always, but a lot of times it is.
So back to Corey's point, you can still guess. But what we did this year differently is we closed the window.
the window, yeah.
Year before last, the window was
Big.
giant. I mean, you were absolutely right. You could get 3/10, which 3/10 in drag racing, for people that drag race, that is huge.
So this-
That's car links upon car links on the other end.
Yeah, this year it didn't happen as much. or not.
And if you did get it this year, if you did take the stab and got it, it was a much smaller
Yeah.
window. It was a much smaller time. So instead of 3/10, it might be a 1/10, right? So,
How you doing, buddy?
good question. Question is, what's it going to take to beat Ryan Martin?
Well, first of all, horsepower. Second of all, devoted team. These cars don't go down the street or the track or anything by itself. It takes a devoted team. He has a great crew with him. He has great help from a bunch of sponsors, and you have to have that in your team. And traveling throughout the whole entire country, you get pissed off, you get mad, your team gets pissed off at each other. You have to keep that together, and you have to stay as one team and be united to try to fight all year. You agree?
But what I'll say is, listen, in any sport, right, you take the champ down, it's pretty tough, right? So,
Ryan, you're just gonna say that you have the world's best sponsor, right?
Don't take that.
yeah,
You what? You have the world's best sponsor.
yeah, correct, yeah.
Sanitize that real quick.
We're good, I got it.
I would say in any sport, it's hard to take down the champ, no matter what sport it is, right? So at the end of the year, I beat Ryan Martin in the grade A, and my partner beat Ryan Martin in the finals. But it took us all year to do it. You know what I mean?
Spoiler alert.
I wanna elaborate.
So what I see the most, Corey, and I think this is the answer that most everybody wants to look at, and Ryan knows this because I tell him and I've talked about it online. What Ryan does better than everybody else is Ryan is, number one, he's consistent. And the team makes very few mistakes. Our problem from our team was mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes. It wasn't that we couldn't run with him. It wasn't that we couldn't outrun him. It was that we made a lot of mistakes. Not when we raced him necessarily, but before we got a chance to race him. And there's so many, there's more than, it's not Street Outlaws versus Ryan Martin. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it does feel like it sometimes, but every one of these guys,
Have we upped
just
the
like-
bounty this year?
yeah, he's very consistent, but just like what Boostin was saying, these guys, all of them are fast, and if somebody guesses the tree, they get a little advantage. They put a faster car out. Then that guy moves on, the faster car is out, but that's part of the game. But traditionally, and I've been watching Ryan's success for years, because it's what we've patterned our program off of. My guys, my crew will tell you, we go back to the trailer, we go back home during the week, I tell them, here's where we're getting beat, guys. It's not that we're getting outrun. We're getting outperformed, we're getting outworked. This combination, this crew, they make less mistakes. And they consistently make less mistakes.
That's
And that's
very
what
true.
makes him what he is.
That's very true. I'm gonna give you guys a perfect example.
Lady luck.
I've been racing, y'all been seeing me on the show. I haven't been doing well, I've been failing. I built this car and I put my kid in charge of our new car. The car immediately had success. Because what he did was, he took over the whole program. He said, Dad, you take your program and you go over there. I sent somebody over there, he said, no, I don't need them. I have my own. He's strictly focused and dedicated on his program, and it reflects. It showed. I've been doing it for a long time, and my program has not been tight. Immediately when I gave him the opportunity to run his own program, he's an extreme professional. He run his whole program by himself. So the results, always, like he say, Ryan perfecting his program and being relentless and making sure everything is right, it's going to reflect to what he's doing.
Yeah, and the other thing too, you're not going to see Ryan's best friend from high school who shows up at the next race to help him crew on the car. The one thing that we were making mistakes in 21 was that your best friend from high school might be there, but he's been there the whole time. It's not going to be a new guy next week. So in 21, you know, we'd have friends who'd be like, hey man, you're coming to our hometown. Can we come help on the car?
Yeah.
Sure, man, yeah, absolutely. We need an extra hand. That's the worst plan you can do in this deal. Because they can be a NASA engineer, but when it comes to your program, they're gonna be a square peg in a round hole. And so these guys are all together as a unit, and every team in here, racers, there's a lot of you standing here. That's the best advice I can give you. I don't care if you're a man short, be a man short all year.
But to put it together 5 times and stop throughout the night. Period. I don't care who you are.
So here's what I'll say, and this is just based off being on the starting line and watching every single car go down the track. For the racers that draw Ryan Martin, I watched them make passes in testing, and they look so fast. And then it seems like when y'all draw Ryan Martin, you open the laptop up and you just up arrow everything on the power. And you just up arrow it till you can't up arrow it no more. And then you probably make the slowest pass of your entire weekend against the man that you should be making your fastest pass. So this is just a kind of a, I'm not gonna say an outsider point of view, but someone who is watching every single car go down the track all weekend long. I see it more times than not. Whoever draws Ryan Martin tries to swing for the fence, when in reality, your test pass probably would have gave him a run for his money, if not beat him if you were quick on the tree, right? So that's just mine.
Sound like Swanstrom. No, he's just fast. You race him and he's fast. You know, we're not sitting there and pushing the keyboard up or doing that. He's just fast.
When we race Ryan and we draw Ryan, my tune-up's already made. We're ready to go. I don't even know who we're racing, but I'm ready to go, and I don't change it, whether it's Ryan or anybody else. But what seems to happen with us, I mean, Justin raced Ryan, I think, 14 or 15 times this year. Seemed like Justin and Ryan couldn't get away from it. And that's good. You know, you got to race the best guy, the fastest guy to beat him anyway. But I think, and there would be times, I know they'd go out the first round, and Ryan, they'd make their shakedown, and he'd be dog shit. And we were good. But when Ryan runs us, that motherfucker's going to be fast every time. I swear. He can be shitty. When he runs us, he's going fast. But we know that every time, and we expect that, and we run it.
We usually make pretty good lap together. Usually Justin and I.
Yeah, you two are right there, man. It is.
They're very close.
It's good racing. Yes, it is. For sure. But you know, one thing I would tell you, too, it's, you know, me and him, you know, my son, me and him, we argue a lot. I'll just tell you that right now. We go at it. What? But he wants to beat you. I'll tell you that right now. He wants to beat anybody he races against. But he focuses on beating you. If he could just take you out, he don't give a shit. Put him in the trailer next round. As long as he fucks you up. That's what he wants to do. But what I will tell you though is, I think a lot of people too focus. You're fast. Your car is fast. I know where your car runs good at. I studied it. It's fast. But there's a lot of other cars that are just as fast, but they don't know it. And you know why they don't know it? Because none of us got a time slip. The only ones that really know it, and that's why the rules.
You didn't get one?
Hold on. That's why. If you listen when he says the rules are pretty close, they're not going to change much, because there's only 3 people that really know that I know of. It's going to be Sam, Jim,
and Ryan.
Yeah, he gets to see all the time.
But where I'm going with this, I'm going to stop here in a minute. But where I'm going with this is, so those guys only. When we go test, we have a time slip, but we're not at the same track, same service, same day, same air. But when we're racing, those 3 know exactly what your car ran, everybody, they know. So all those cars, at the end, they can see the parity. It don't matter how much we holler and scream about what ain't right, because every racer, I don't give a shit, rules ain't right, no matter what.
Sam, that's exactly why we need more overdrive in the screwball.
Yes, and I've heard that, and I've heard all of it. More weight on everybody. If I listen to all of you guys, every car would weigh 4,500 pounds.
That's where I'm going with this. So another sanction of racing, I was talking to some of my buddies of mine, that they got another sanction. They have a big problem with the rules, and they got combos. They're just getting blasted. And they said, well, I said, well, ours is pretty good. We don't have that problem. Why don't you have that problem? Because we don't have fucking time slips. That's why. So those guys that have time slips, they can sandbag, and they got that combo, a lot of power. And they keep putting weight, they don't slow down. Put weight, they don't slow down, because they're sandbagging until they get there. Ryan and Justin, Dean, all you guys can never sandbag. You want to know why? Because you're fucking running for 40 grand. That's why. There will be no sandbagging. You're going all out every time.
Exactly right.
Can't sandbag it. And Sam, he knows you can't bullshit because he sees the slips.
Yeah, a good for instance of that is in the finals. In the finals, you know, at the last race of the year, and I'll try not to spoil it, but basically, Jim was racing Kai, and somebody said, well, Jim's going to lay down for him so he can try to win the championship. But when you're racing for $40,000, that gets rid of anybody laying down for anybody.
Look what Lizzie
because this man wants that just as bad as anybody does.
Too soon.
Exactly right. That too. That's exactly right too.
As an
But, and I think another reason why maybe we do decent also in the last couple of years is we've not really changed our combo any. And a lot of you guys, I mean, you guys did it, but you changed from the Pro Charger to a screw, and whether you thought that was the right move or whether it was or wasn't, once you changed to it, you had to ride with it. Yeah. And regardless of if you change, you start backwards a little bit, and then you come up. So I think for us, and I didn't know if it was the right move or not either when the rule change happened, but for us staying with a Pro Charger for the last 2 years has helped us propel forward, more consistent, and get all the little nooks and crannies and every little number that we could out of that combo.
Well, we had to change because we didn't get the same Pro Chargers you got. You know what I'm saying? We got Ryan Martin Pro Chargers and we got customer Pro Chargers. But
people are going to believe that.
Hey, you're the champ, baby.
All right, let's get this back on track.
Question for Sam.
What's the question? What's the question?
We're still doing grade 8.
Why did you get rid of grade 8, he said?
Are we still
Who
doing
is that?
We got the grade 8.
We are doing a variation of the grade 8, yes.
Yeah, a variation.
Variation is the key.
Racing.
Ryan caught on to that.
We're going to be racing.
Yeah, they need to. I like the grade 8.
Ryan only gets half points. Everybody else gets 4 points. At some point, we got to slow you down, Hoss. Take it with a grain of salt.
I could be wrong, but if it wasn't for the grade 8, I don't think you would have been number 1 for a while, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So.
what the internet says.
Yeah, that's what the internet says. But whatever the people complained, oh well, it helped Ryan. It didn't really help Ryan. It helped anybody who won. If Ryan wins more of them, then it helped him.
And it makes people work harder to be in the grade 8. If you win, you're able to be in the grade 8 because, like I said, I mean, there was only 8 of us that got the race, and there were some people that were pissed off that the same people were doing it. But if you just get in the top 8, it's not that hard to do.
You earned that.
Hey, but it gave the fans the opportunity
Good
to see.
racing.
No. I want to say that. It does. The good thing about the grade 8, it gives awesome racing. Nothing against some of y'all, Tony McKinney, you're shit slow, but when you would run, you just it was a couple gaps between. Nobody likes seeing that. So now the grade 8, you see side by side racing
here comes the
all the
drama.
time.
Here comes the
And
That's that arrogance, huh?
Yeah, so the question was, do I think that Ryan Martin will be as dominant next year in no prep? You talking about no prep kings? Yeah, no prep kings as he has been this year in years prior. I'm going to say absolutely. Once you have Ryan Martin's program is top notch, top tier, and that doesn't just fade away, right? So he's going to be up at the top again next year, and the year after that, and the year after that until infinity, because that's just his program and that's just what he does. He wins. So. You are right, though. Teams were catching up to him towards the end, and I think that was just guys, making laps on their cars and making their programs better as well. And you yourself can attest to that. You made the changes you needed to make to go faster, and it showed. Where'd you finish up? Where'd you finish up at the end? You finished up at the top. Yeah, so there you go. Good question.